morning. It's Wednesday morning. I had to think about what day it was out there, folks, as we're trending through here the end of the summer months with the heat we've been having. A little cool down happening here in Phoenix. Of course, I'm Stephen McCollum. You're watching McCollum on Business, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Lots of movement, a lot of inflation reports today. We got mortgage reports as well. All of that coming your way, including the market watch, stocks we're paying attention to, and those local and national stories that you need to know. You Red Bull fans, McDonald's is making a play toward one company that must be taking a lot of its business away, that seems to be targeting those dirty drinks. We'll give you that story coming up. Gluten-free popular snack items for kids and some adults, namely this guy. Big changes there coming up as well. Those stories coming up later in the program. But first, let's get into it with that Market Watch. And you're looking at it at the same time I am here, folks. We are just like yesterday during showtime, basically flat here with the inflation reporting coming out this morning. We'll talk about here in just a few minutes and everything, but everything is basically flat here. Dow Jones right now, as you can see, only up 26 points here this morning. Now, not a lot of movement in the Middle East. We're still waiting for answers over there. Obviously, kind of holding where we are in the stock market. S&P 500's up 16 points to 77.46. The NASDAQ by itself up 145 points to 26,588. The Russell 2K up to 9 points to 3,040. And then Bitcoin technically up today 137 points. Trading at that 63,000 level, though, 63,648 for Bitcoin here this morning as well. We got, as I said, inflation data, the consumer prices is what we got this morning as well. Now, a lot of people questioning the AI expenditures and what companies are spending on artificial intelligence again. Mortgage rates, well, they've stopped rising. They aren't going down very far either, though. We have all those stories coming up for you, but all of those affecting the markets here today. And the first stock we're looking at, a lot of data center stocks, as I told you in the news today. Supermicro Computers, the first stock that we are going to look at, 16.20% up right now. They're a data center infrastructure stock. If you don't know, servers basically is what this company does. Well, it's up big today. They issued very good guidance for its first quarter earnings and revenue. They also exceeded their fourth quarter estimate numbers. They expect adjusted earnings in the range of $1.01 to $1.10 per share. Well, the estimate was only 76 cents per share for that side. Blew that out of the water. But the guidance is what's kind of leading the stock up the most here. Revenue guidance in the range of $14.5 to $15.5 billion. Blew away the estimated revenue guidance number of $11.68 billion. So excellent numbers here by Supermicro Computer. Their stock's up big today, 16.20% as well. And now let's look at an artificial intelligence cloud company that everybody's watching today as well. CoreWeave is that company, 19.54% up as of right now. Well, they second quarter adjusted operating income margin, it came in at 5%. The estimate was only 2.7% the investors were looking for out there, basically almost doubling, just under doubling that number. Revenue came in at $2.58 billion. Folks, that was up 112% over a year ago. That is a nice gain there of 112%. It did come in ahead of the $2.56 billion that was expected as well for CoreWeave. So CoreWeave, Supermicro Computer, two AI stocks that everybody's watching this morning, and big movement on them as well. But we're not done with it. Our last one here we're going to look at is an AI infrastructure stock also called Nebius Group. This company stock is up 18.94%. Now you see why the NASDAQ was up the most here today, folks, right? Well, this is up, as I said, 18.99% right now. The company reported better than expected EBITDA and revenues compared to the estimates from the investors that they were expecting. Gross margins, big one, also stronger than the estimates for Nebius Group. So all of these AI-type infrastructure companies Doing very well here today on the stock market. At least these three are leading the charge as well. When we come back later and look at stocks, we're going to look at H&R Block. You know, the everybody's favorite tax company. Contour Brands out there we're going to look at. And Kava Group, you know them, the Mediterranean fast casual restaurant. We'll look at them as well as they're making some waves on the stock market. But first, obviously, the Consumer Price Index came out this morning, as I've told you already. And that is a big report here because it's part of the Federal Reserve's, inflation, what they look at. They call it their dashboard here as well. Well, the CPI showed a seasonally adjusted increase of 0.1% during July. And don't forget, Bureau of Labor Statistics gives us the CPI reporting. Now, if you want to do the core CPI, which excludes that volatile food and energy number, it rose 0.2%. So on an annual basis, that makes the inflation rates about 3.4%, and then the core 2.5%. Both are down zero point 0.1 percentage points from the June numbers, but still well above the 2% number that the Fed wants inflation to be at. All of the readings were in line with the forecasted number by the consensus number by investors. So we're well above that 2% target. Not a shocker. We've been that way for a long time. But these are tame monthly readings that just came out. And then there was in June, it was similar tepid levels in June as well. So what that's indicating to us is that energy is not, energy earlier this year was leading a large charge into the inflation. But it's showing that these energy roller coasters we're on, where they go way up, way down, well, it's easing. It's easing the inflation on the markets as well. Prices do remain volatile out in the market, though, because it's of the constantly changing conditions in the Middle East causing those oil prices to go up 5, 6, 7, 10% in a day and then come back down 10 to 12 the next day. So prices are, very volatile right now, but we're seeing tepid numbers. It's starting to come down as well. If you want to look at specific numbers here or categories in the CPI, energy prices, another 1.5% drop here for the month. And that was a 5.7 decrease in June. Now, the problem is the energy sector saw an annual increase of 14.7%. Yeah, sharp gains in prior months, that we saw. That 10.9% surge in these energy prices back in March alone, right after the war actually began. So energy prices are easing, regardless of what your gas station tells you they are doing out there. Both food and shelter saw 0.1% increases in July. While shelter costs have been another problem here in this market, they've been stubborn. They're a key contributor toward that inflation rate being well above that 2% level is the shelter side. Now, there was a modest gain here in the shelter, but shelter accounted for about 2/3 of the headline increase in this report. The index was held in check, though, by a 2.8% decline in lodging away from home costs, a key measure that asked property owners what they could get in rent. Well, that one increased 0.3%. So they're saying rents are up about 3%, 0.3% here on this level as well. So shelter and energy are the two big movers in this BLS report. New vehicle prices did rise 0.1%. Well, used cars and trucks increased 0.4% in the last month. Medical care, well, that was up 0.4%. If you're flying anytime soon, this shouldn't shock you with energy prices, right? Airline fares, they were accelerated by 2.2% last month, according to this CPI report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics out there. We get that reporting this morning, and then we go into total mortgages and things affecting the housing market, right? Total mortgage application volume rose 3.6% last week compared to the previous week. We get this reporting every week from the Mortgage Bankers Association's a seasonally adjusted index that they put out. The average contract interest rate for that 30-year fixed rate mortgages, the conforming loan balances, which is now $832,750, right? Anything that or less. Well, that number decreased to 6.77%. Last week it was at 6.81%. A decrease, not a huge decrease, but there is a decrease involved in that as well. Points increased to 0.67%. Points were at 0.65% last week as well. So now that's including loans with a 20% down payment, the standard there as well. Applications to refinance a home loan actually rose last week as well, 5%, but they were 22% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Yeah, because interest rates remaining elevated up there. Rates were 10 basis points lower than 1 year ago. Applications for a mortgage to purchase a home, well, they rose 3% for the week. They were 1% lower year over year. August is one of the slowest months for home sales, typically. But the problem is this year is even weaker than last year, which was already a weak number last year as well. So the housing market is not budging at all in terms of the high interest rates, in terms of the pricing, mortgages, even refinancing out there as well. It's a brutal time to be in the mortgage industry here in this economy, and we're also getting news that the federal budget deficit, it's expected to surpass $2 trillion this fiscal year. Now, that would make it one of the largest shortfalls on record, all because spending growth continues to outpace the tax receipts. So the CBO, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, gives us these numbers, and they released the monthly budget update for July. Now, that showed the federal government ran a nearly $1.8 trillion deficit through the first 10 months of fiscal year 2026. By the way, that runs through the end of September, if you need to know that timing. That figure represents an increase of $169 billion when compared to the same 10-month period in fiscal year 2025. Let me get you some specifics here. Federal spending increased $308 billion from a year ago. That outpaced the $139 billion rise in tax receipts. Yeah, almost, right? Almost double the spending over the tax receipt amounts. CBO also noted it now estimates the budget deficit will rise to $2.1 trillion, so up $200 billion from last fiscal year for the fiscal year 2026. Now, that's based on information available just through the end of July. Why? Again, why is this happening? The increased spending is being driven by the cost of servicing the federal government's national debt, right? That $39 trillion national debt, just the servicing that is causing these numbers to go up, right? But then there's also rising expenses for the government's three largest mandatory spending programs. That's right. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid spending is also way up as well. Costs related to paying interest on the debt, they were up $117 billion, which breaks out to about 14%. That's just in the first 10 months of this fiscal year of 2026 compared to last year's fiscal year. The rise was attributed to higher long-term interest rates. Yeah, these interest rates aren't just affecting you and me. They're affecting the amount of interest the government has to pay on this information, But then the national debt rose as well, and then you got the higher interest payments. Now let's get into that spending right on the benefits that we talked about. Social Security benefits rose on that spending $70 billion, which will be about 5% from a year ago. Now that's due to high average benefits following inflation adjustments and the increased number of people collecting Social Security out there. The Medicare costs, well, they increased $66 billion, about 8% from a year ago, due to increased enrollment, higher payment rates for healthcare services. Medicaid spending was up $45 billion, which is about, again, 8% because of the rising costs per enrollee. That's why it's up. The rising costs causing these expenses to be up huge amounts here for our federal government. Now, the problem is tax revenue. Well, not very large right now, not as big in keeping up with the spending. So payroll and taxes, tax revenue, well, it rose by a combined $202 billion, only 5% compared with a year ago. Withholdings from workers' paychecks, they were up $141 billion, about 5%, right? Rising wages and salaries leading to that amount. Tax refunds paid to individuals rose $23 billion, about 7%, which means you got a bunch of money back, folks. And that's all due to that one big, beautiful bill act that passed last year in the government on the tax breaks. And then corporate income tax collections, they were down big as well, about 23%, which equates to about $89 billion. Also, because of the one big, beautiful bill act that happened there on the corporate side, it expanded deductions for investments and resulted in those fewer tax receipts out there. Then we talk about tariffs, collections from custom duties, and this includes the tariffs there, but they increased about 13%, $18 billion compared with the same period last year as well. So basically, story as old as time. Spending too much money compared to the revenue coming in. Record deficit coming our way here on that federal level. Let's move away from the government reporting here and talk about our food safety out there, right? We know the Cyclospora outbreak with the lettuce is happening. We've heard other stories of other things being affected by some diseases coming in as well. And we get this story. The FDA conducted just under 1,000 foreign food safety inspections in 2025. Yeah. Here's the problem. That tailor-made farms down there in Mexico, well, 0 inspections last year. Yeah. 0. What a shocker. Food safety is being compromised. Now, here's the history. A federal law enacted to prevent diseased and dirty food from reaching Americans' plates requires the FDA to carry out about 20 times that 1,000 amount that they did on many foreign inspections each year. The FDA hasn't come close to meeting those congressional mandates or even 10% of that number, right? We just saw that 1,000 is all they got done last year, right? And this congressional thing has been in place for 10 years, folks. So obviously, multiple presidential administrations for those of you that want to blame one or another. FDA officials have described the requirement as unrealistic, but they've never asked Congress to actually revise the number. And a lower foreign inspection target the agency deemed necessary to safeguard foreign imports, well, even that is 5 times higher than the number of inspections conducted last year. So even the FDA's number of inspections needed isn't coming close to getting hit. Yeah, foreign food safety inspections fell by 29% from 2024 levels. Now, if you take out the COVID-19 years, right, with the pandemic, last year's inspection count was the lowest since 2011. Yeah. So is it increasing this year? No. Early numbers in 2026 show that the agency is on track to inspect a similar number as they did last year in 2024. And we're continuing to see these illnesses come into America from these foreign entities and foreign food manufacturers out there as well. Not good, folks. Not good at all. Hey, we talk about the social media companies being under attack, quote unquote. Not seriously, just legally here because of safety for kids and things to that. In Meta Platforms, it's a high-profile trial here. We know they've lost a couple throughout the United States over the last several months, but they're now Meta Platforms is about to face a coalition of state attorneys generals. It's going to happen in California is where this trial is going to begin. It begins today on Wednesday, and it's all over those claims that Facebook and Instagram, they were engineered to be addictive to children. Now, they've already lost a couple of these, and could further expose Meta Platforms to massive damages, and then, of course, force it to make sweeping changes to its platforms that it's been reluctant to do. They've done some changes on the surface, but one of these trials is going to lead to major issues for this company. The trial's happening up in Oakland, California. It's expected to last 7 weeks. Now, this trial here, Colorado, Kentucky, California, and New Jersey, they're lodging allegations that Meta designed its platforms to keep young users hooked and then even misled consumers about their organizations and their programs' safety. It's going to address this lawsuit is going to also address claims by 29 states that the company illegally collected and used children's data in violation of federal law. So jury selection is today. Opening statements slated to begin August 18th. 7-week trial. Is this another one that Meta Platforms loses? And folks, this is happening in California. This is an uphill battle for Meta here in that California court. So we'll have to see where this one goes as well. And a lot of us have kids going to college for the first time this year. Yeah, I'm one of you out there, and college expenses are rising. But how much? Well, they're rising faster than the inflation level, folks. Yeah, this is a new report drawn from surveys of students and parents. Only 1,000, but it is indicative of what is out there in the market. The typical student's family spent $34,019 on college in the 25 to 26 academic year, according to that report. Now, the report is called How America Pays for College 2026. So that number was a 10% increase from the average family's college spending from the previous year, which was $30,837. This new report comes from the higher education firm Sally and the market research company Ipsos, for those of you wondering who does this. Now, it was 1,000 undergraduate students and 1,000 parents were part of this survey. It was conducted just this spring. The findings add to a confusing and sometimes contradictory dossier of data on college affordability. Average tuition and fees, well, they rose about 4%, $45,000 for private and nonprofit colleges in 25-26, according to the College Board. Average costs, well, they rose 2.9% to $11,950 for in-state students at public four-year colleges. This new report finds families paying more for college in 2026, but largely satisfied. That's the important part. You're paying more, but you're largely satisfied that you're getting a fair deal in those costs. Roughly half of the families said they paid less than sticker price for the tuition. That means federal aid out there. More than 70% said they felt the student's education and overall experience was appropriately priced. Some even said a bargain. They used the word bargain in the study as well. So here are the top 10 reasons cited by students and parents on why they picked their college that they chose to attend to. Affordability, that was 40% of their choosing decisions. Can I afford the college to go to it? Near the home was 39%. Was it in-state? Well, that was 39% as well. In-state always gives you a cheaper dollar amount. Specific program or degree that you're looking to do? Well, that was 38% of the choice as well. By the way, people could pick multiple categories, just so you know. So these numbers don't add up. Don't do the math and tell me they don't add up. Scholarship reasons on why they chose this school, 36%, which makes sense, right? My college cheaper if I can go there. Campus environment was 33%. If they had friends going to the same college, that was 22%. 20% chose a college for the social life. Online or hybrid classes, which is a big deal for people today. 16% chose colleges for that reason. And then the prestige of the school, right? Like a Princeton, a Harvard, etc. 13% chose the school for that reason. Ooh, lots of reasons to pick schools out there. I mean, affordability is a big one. Your degree, how respected is that degree when you get out, are the big ones as well. And when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we appreciate you joining us here on this Wednesday. Few local stories. Then, like I said, we're going to talk McDonald's. Well, trying to get into that swig category even more. We'll tell you about that coming up. And then a favorite child snack. And like I said, an adult snack. This guy loves them. Coming out with a new version of it for those of you that need that option. We'll tell you about all of that. And even Chick-fil-A. Big menu option coming for a limited time. Coming up, folks. Come on back. McCollum on Business. Wednesday edition. And we're back here, McCollum on Business, here on this Wednesday edition. Appreciate you all joining me here today. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. As long as markets are open, we are here. Follow our parent company parent company of all of our production here, TME Media AZ. Follow them on X for all the updates of what we do around here as well. Maybe you'd like to come and join us to record a show, whether it be an audio podcast, a visual podcast, kind of what we do here. We'd love to have you in here as well. We work with several entities out there. We do shows we produce shows that aren't on our network. They have their own network and or companies that work with them. We work with them closely, and we'd love to have you guys come in as well. Like for instance, there's a large radio company that lets us do and that comes in and does it here because even though they're a radio company, they don't have the time nor the setup in order to work at their studios. So they come over here and do some recordings here. We'd love to work with you out there. Follow TME Media AZ as well. And of course, you're watching us live here, 7 a.m. here on McCollum on Business on YouTube, TME Media AZ. Right after we're done here, we go live. The main event, 8 to 10 a.m. as where you can find me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrey, getting you caught up on the sports world. Come and follow us live from 8 to 10 a.m. And if you can't catch us live, your boss is a slave driver, getting the kids off to school, whatever, you're just enjoying a good breakfast out there. Whatever your reason you can't join us live, well, catch any of our programming on demand, not just on YouTube, but over on Rumble as well. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. And also over there on Rumble, well, that's the main place there for The Real Matrix, which comes out on Fridays. Every Friday, a new episode. This Friday, we got a Fauci episode coming your way, Dr. Fauci. So coming up Friday at noon, folks. Come and join us. There's 40-plus episodes out there already for all sorts of interests and everything. So check out The Real Matrix on Rumble right now as well. Follow and like and subscribe all of our pages, all of our programs except for this one. Well, they're all also have free podcasts out there. Just search the show names on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, Podchaser. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple out there. Right there, give them a follow. Just search for the show names, right? Whether it be The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot, search for that. The Pit Stop with Steven, it pops right up there as well on the free podcasting system. By the way, the Pit Stop coming your way tomorrow is when that will be up for you. Tomorrow early afternoon for you. It's gonna be a day later than Wednesday. I'm waiting for some things to matriculate here for that show, and so we're probably gonna have to push that to Thursday. But that is up on demand as well and on the free podcasting system. The main event free podcast system as well. Just search the main event with Steven, the main event with Dale. It'll pop right up for you. And folks, everything has social media as well on X, except for this show and the Real Matrix out there. Everything else, just the TME Sports Show, the Pit Stop Talk, all out there for you. Please like and subscribe, share us with your friends. With all that being said, let's get right back into that Market Watch. Everything is just like it was when we looked at it at the top of the show as well. Just kind of there. Although it is getting better out there, everything is just where it's at here today with the inflation report. Tame inflation data. We talked about that in the first part. But AI is driving the NASDAQ here today as we showed you those three of the AI stocks earlier. Dow Jones right now up to 32 points, 53,830. The S&P 500 is up to 17 points right now. NASDAQ's up to 169 points. And then the Russell 2K, the small cap index, is up 4 here this morning. Bitcoin, well, it was up 100 and something earlier, only up 48 points right now, trading in that mid 63,000 range, 63,582 for Bitcoin here today. And the consumer price index and mortgage rates, etc., all the focus here of the market so far today. Stocks we're paying attention to in this stretch, H&R Block is the first one we're going to look at, and they're up today 15.45%. They issued an upbeat forecast for the 2027 fiscal year. They see adjusted earnings in a range of $6.04 to $6.24 per share, while the consensus was $5.86 per share for them. So they moved that range up above that consensus number. Their revenue estimate is $4.11 billion to $4.16 billion. And the estimates out there is only $4.05 billion. H&R Block doing their ranges, their estimates up and above the estimated numbers. Well, their stocks giving a reward today, let's put it that way. 15.58% up here for H&R Block. Then there's Contour Brands out there. They're an apparel company. They're up 6.92% right now. I could tell you this in pre-markets. This is why I put this on there in pre-market numbers. They were down 2.5%, 3% at times in pre-markets. Then the market opened and it flipped it, and now they're up 6.92%. Well, they reported weaker than expected revenue in the second quarter. They generated $584 million in revenue. Well, the estimate was for $587 million, so just off there as well. Their earnings did beat expectations, but just by a penny. And the company raised its full-year earnings guidance above the consensus estimates. So it went from 2.5, 3 down in pre-market trading to being up 6.92% and raising their full-year earnings guidance above the consensus estimates for Contour Brands out there. And then Cava Group, Mediterranean fast casual restaurant chain. They're here in the Valley as well, up 12.81% right now. Second quarter earnings were 19 cents per share. Well, the estimates out there were 18 cents per share. Revenue was $368.4 million. The expectation was only $361 million. Yeah, that's right. You guys are eating a lot of Cava's restaurants out there, folks. Getting them above those numbers. Cava Group up 13.17% based off of their revenue reporting as well. So AI stocks are the story of the day here. And here locally, Mesa Gateway Airport is kind of what everybody's paying attention to here this morning. Several operational records were set there over the past fiscal year. Several, including the number of passengers served, which is a big number. That means they're getting busier if that number keeps going up. So since July of last year, 2025, Mesa Gateway Airport, they've set organizational records in 5 major categories, as a matter of fact. I told you, passenger activity, but operating revenue, net income, fuel sales, even parking revenue were all records here for that airport. So their airport did put out a press release, and they said these records come despite a reduction in airport capacity. Now, a lot of that has to do with high fuel prices as well. So occupancy down, all the revenue up. So they do their numbers between July 1st, 2025 and June 30th, 2026. More than 2 million passengers flew through Mesa in that time frame. They brought in over $47 million in that yearly time frame as well. They netted over $6.5 million in income. The airport also earned $19.5 million in fuel sales, $5.8 million in parking revenue there at that airport. So now all of this is telling you, right? Everybody's saying higher fuel prices, airlines are suffering. Well, people are still flying despite those higher fuel prices. These numbers prove it, and not just for business, but for vacations as well. The airport says momentum continues into the new fiscal year. The airport's primary carrier, which is Allegiant, by the way, Allegiant Airlines, they recently announced an additional 39 flights from Gateway starting this winter. So their growth is continuing out there at Mesa Gateway Airport as well. And there's several flight schools out there. ASU Polytechnic out there is a flight school as well. So they're earning revenue on multiple fronts out there at Mesa Gateway Airport. And hey, Walmart Academy has been around now for 10 years. Well, Walmart announced a $250,000 grant to aid driving workforce development opportunities here in Arizona. This grant is being given to the Center for the Future of Arizona. It's also they could expand the workforce opportunities offered in the Greater Phoenix area. The center will partner with the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity. They'll partner with the Arizona Department of Economic Security, even Maricopa Community College District. The Greater Phoenix Chamber will be involved, along with Phoenix, Arizona's Outwork, and Maricopa County's Arizona Outwork. It's the Outwork companies in different areas there. in this effort here with the donation. Now, Walmart selected the Valley for its grant, well, because we have strong workforce system and how Arizona connects or how we connect to our employers here, educators and organizations, that whole web that has been weaved. The organization also cited the way the system is informed by labor market data and then enhanced by technology. So for the next 5 years, Walmart and this foundation will try to help workers prepare for and even move into high quality career opportunities. Now, if you don't know what Walmart Academy is, they're all over the United States, but it's one of the world's largest private training programs. It's seen 4 million trainings be completed since 2016. It does not charge employees for the retail skills, leadership fundamentals, or even the operational expertise that they are taught here in the academy. And the academy here, the Walmart Academy, it's over in Gilbert, I do believe, as well out there. So Walmart taking notice of what we do here in Arizona with everything, and Walmart taking notice that their employees are getting benefited. They're in that Walmart Academy, and now that donation's coming out there, and hey, you McDonald's fans out there, or maybe you're not a fan of McDonald's, maybe you'll become one. Their pricing better be in line with Swig for these, or else it's going to be a turnoff. But Walmart, or excuse me, McDonald's, we just got done talking about Walmart. McDonald's, well, you go to McDonald's, you're like, I'm dragging. I don't need just a Coke. Yeah, you can get an energy boost, yeah, now in your drinks. Yep, beginning Monday, August 17th, folks. This Monday coming up. Well, McDonald's will add the Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer beverage to its menu nationwide. Yeah. It's going to be made with Red Bull energy drink with blue raspberry syrup, freeze-dried dragon fruit exclusions, and it's bold fruit forwards. It's a bold fruit forward slip that's as vibrant as it is energizing. That was a lot. That was a news release they put out there. Now, you can substitute Red Bull Zero or even get Red Bull separately in an 8.4-ounce can at participating restaurants. Yeah, the Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer goes nationwide in the U.S. McDonald's did test the drink in select markets and in Australia, and they said it went extremely well. But then also, not just that coming up on Monday, Red Bull in your for a drink. McDonald's also expanding its dirty soda offerings. They've had some success here as well. You'll now be able to customize favorites to your drinks. So that means Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero Sugar, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Fanta Orange, or High C, right? McDonald's sodas there. You can put those in with a vanilla swirl or creamy cold foam topping now. Yeah. Check your participating McDonald's, folks, as well. Now, Sprite Berry Blast, right, that they already have. Well, that can be made with blue raspberry syrup. Cold foam now is what you can do, right? Kind of giving those infusions, that you can look at for you Swig fans out there that want to try something else out there. And Chick-fil-A is not afraid to try new things as well. Limited time here. I ain't going to lie to you. Sounds a little delish. Could get chicken and waffles offerings coming up here at Chick-fil-A as well. Yeah. Chick-fil-A wants to deliver classic flavors in an entirely new way. Yeah, they're bringing fall vibes to its stores. New limited edition menu. It's going to feature waffles for the first time in the restaurant's history, which is a lengthy one, 80, 90 years old now? Yeah. Now, this is all because of a limited test last year that had a lot of success. The menu items were well received in the test markets, building excitement for this wider launch, even though it's still going to be limited here as well. So the chicken and waffle sandwich, it's going to be available as both breakfast and an entree option after breakfast. It features the signature Chick-fil-A filet between two maple-flavored waffles, complimentary with 3 strips of applewood smoked bacon and honey butter spread. It's going to be served warm with a side of classic syrup. Customers can customize your sandwich with a preferred filet option, right? Original, spicy, or grilled. Ugh, spicy for chicken and waffles? I don't know if I like that as well. It's going to start at $4.95. The entree is going to start at $7.59. So the breakfast sandwich is $4.95. Obviously, prices will vary on the locations and what cities you're in, etc. Now, they also said the newest drop brings together everything guests love about the sweet and savory classic, but with unmistakable Chick-fil-A flavor. Yeah. Now, they're also coming out with 2 new drinks as well, inspired by one of America's most beloved treats, folks. That's right, s'mores. There's a s'mores milkshake going limited time to the menu. Chick-fil-A signature ice dream dessert blended with chocolate shortbread and graham cracker crumbles. Marshmallow flavored syrup and marshmallow flavored with coffee toppings will be part of that as well. S'mores frosted coffee is another drink that you can get. And mouth-watering, folks. A blend of cold brewed coffee, marshmallow flavored syrup, and restaurant signature ice cream dessert mixed with chocolate shortbread with graham cracker crumbles on that one as well. So the Chick-fil-A's chicken and waffle sandwiches are going to begin rolling out nationwide August 24th. As I said, limited time out there, folks. I'll just say this. Support this. It's going to be yummy. Support it if you want it to stick around coming up here, folks. But August 24th. And then finally, every kid's favorite snack out there, and even some adults, like I said, point at myself here. But if you have some health issues and things, Goldfish is, after many, many years of not caring about your gluten allergy, well, now they do. Goldfish, they all of a sudden woke up. Now, it's actually a touching reason why they're doing this. I'll tell you about that here. But Goldfish is giving the customers with those gluten sensitivities, well, a reason to buy your bag of Goldfish. The snack that smiles back is what they're calling this here. They're rolling it out for the first certified gluten-free cheese crackers. They're calling them Goldfish gluten-free, original name there. It's coming out in November, folks. The brand shared the news on an August 11th Instagram post. They say the Goldfish gluten-free was inspired by fans like Brooklyn. And then they included the letter from Brooklyn as well. She wrote in a letter that her celiac disease prevented her from eating her favorite snack. If you don't know what celiac disease is, it's an autoimmune disease. It occurs in genetically predisposed people. It involves the small intestine being damaged when no longer ingest gluten as well. So now the Celiac Disease Foundation, they estimate that celiac disease affects 1 in 100 people worldwide, but only about 30% are properly diagnosed. There's a lot of people just walking around with it and don't know, right? But there are other people that have wanted a gluten-free Goldfish cracker for a long time, been asking for it. Well, the new crackers are made with 100% real cheese and tout the certified gluten-free label on its packaging, and they deliver the craveable cheddar flavor, playful fish shape, and signature smile fans expect, all in a snack parents can feel good about serving. So Goldfish announced the entity coming out. Now, this new line of gluten-free crackers, they'll be available at retailers starting this November. So we have a little bit of a wait here coming up. Now, they say the 5-ounce package will be a suggested retail price of $4.99 coming up as well. So they're not, I don't even know what a regular small bag of Goldfish runs. I just buy them. But they're not overly priced, at least in my opinion. They're at $4.99. They could have gouged on it. So that's coming your way in November as well, folks. So some changes coming there. And everybody's adding new stuff here coming up for the fall. Get in on it out there. Hey, I appreciate you joining me here from McCollum on Business here on this Wednesday edition. Ann chimes in on the YouTube chat and says, grilled sounds wrong, meaning the chicken, I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm not a breaded chicken fan, but that filet that Chick-fil-A puts on their sandwiches is gold for some reason. I'm not a breaded chicken fan. And I agree with you. A grilled chicken on a Chick-fil-A thing doesn't sound right. I'm not going to lie to you. It just doesn't. And I'm more of a grilled chicken fan than I am a breaded chicken fan, except for at Chick-fil-A. Isn't that a weird? I'm just a weird dude, I guess. Don't forget, you can join our YouTube chat while we're live as well. Just log in and go ahead and send your chats in. We see them. We talk about them. All that fun stuff. But, folks, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. here, McCollum on Business. The main event coming up next.